I was just gonna be on the line. I just saw TV there. I'm about to go on my radio. Drops. I'm finding out the station.
The beat drop. You are tuned into the Bianca Burwell Show on the TheBeatDropsRadio, your top 40 pop and R&B station, the new beat of Atlanta. It is a free-for-all Friday, y'all. Y'all know what happens on Friday. We have hair tips by Imani B. She's going to let us know how to make sure that our hair is looking right. Just saying, sometimes we a little raggedy, we need a little help. So she'll be telling us a few things. I have no idea what she's going to talk about, but I'm looking forward to it. The passing of comedian Joan Rivers, we're going to talk about that. I have some few clips that I'm going to be playing. Justin Ross Harris. You notice how when everybody or when someone commits a murder, we know their first, middle, and last name. But Justin Ross Harris, that is the individual that left his son in the car here in Georgia, basically to die. So he's indicted for murder. He's about 9 counts. We're going to talk about that. And the Real in Real Estate, which she was fired, she has a special guest. They're going to be talking about rebuilding your credit. Benji Nunn will be in the building, so make sure you keep it locked right here. The calling number is 404-826-9223. Again, 404-826-9223 is the calling number. If you know somebody that's trying to listen but don't have internet, I don't know how many people that is, but at any rate, the listen line is 401-347-0418. Again, 401-347-0418. If you want to see everything that's happening as it happens, just go to TheBeatDropsRadio.com. Click on Watch Live. The Q&A board is up. As long as you ain't talking crazy, we'll acknowledge you. Okay? So keep it like right here on the Bianca Burwell Show. Again, free for all Friday. We're going to kick it off with T.I. featuring Iggy. No Mediocre. Bianca Burwell Show. Keep it locked.
No longer with us now. Each year, thousands of cases go unreported where children with disabilities and special needs get abused in their schools. Our mission is to protect the child as well as the teachers who educate them. Please help us in our effort to stop the abuse and promote safety by donating to positive initiatives in care of Aaron Hatcher's They Can't Talk But We Can Eat. P.O. Box 2392, Roswell, Georgia 30077. Or visit our website at theycan'ttalkbutwecaninc.org. Let's not have another loving, innocent child like Aaron die. Remember, they can't talk, but we can.
Call now, 877
Have you closed?
245.
You are tuned into the Bianca Burwell Show on TheBeatDropsRadio, your top 40 pop and R&B station, and this is one of my most favorite segments, Hair Tips by Imani B. We're going to get her on the line because we have absolutely no idea what we're going to learn today. Again, the Q&A board is open, TheBeatDropsRadio.com. Click on Watch Live. If you want to join in the conversation, click on Join the Conversation. Imani B, what's going on, lady?
How are you?
I'm wonderful. Yourself?
I'm just fine, thank you. Just hot. That's it.
It is hot. That now, you ain't never lied on that one. It's hot, ridiculously kind of hot. First it's hot, then it's raining, then it's hot, then it's raining. I don't know what to do.
I think I prefer it to rain to cool off a little bit. Just rain.
You see the steam comes up from the ground. It's like the ground is saying, thank you.
Yes, it is. You see a little steam, and then it's like a wave pattern or whatever, makes things look sort of exciting. You know what I'm talking about?
I guess I know what you're talking about. What you got for us today, Miss Lady?
Well, today I want to talk to you guys about a gluing versus doing weave. What is that? Sew and weave are basically you sew in the extension track, and gluing is when you apply glue to your hair. You put on the track, okay? The extension track.
Gotcha.
Now, what I want to say, guys, there's a big difference between the two, as I just stated. But at the same time, which one would be better, a gluing or a sewing? Some people, now it's a debated topic, but the most beneficial one to you will be sewing weave.
I'm about to say, is that a different kind of sew-in? Is that something different? I got you sew-in. Go ahead.
No. Because when you get a sew-in, they don't require any chemical or heating processes, and that alone can damage your hair. And plus, when you get sew-in, they give you a fuller look than absolute and extension. Because when you get a sew-in, you have to get braids in order to get that thing on the track and have it be stable. But the braids underneath have to push the layers of that hair out a little bit more. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And plus, sew-in lasts longer. On about average, some keep their sew-ins in for about 2 months, and that's depending upon how you take care of them.
I'm about to say, doesn't it start stinking after a while? I'm just saying, you don't want to keep it in too long.
You need to be washing your hair in the process. Don't be Don't be afraid to shampoo the hair. If you got legitimate hair in your head, shampoo it. Even if it's synthetic. Synthetic hair has some instructions too on how to keep it up to date. But there is a limit. If you know, because I know me personally, I do my own sewing. I don't even take it too much. Sometimes I don't even take it 3 weeks, okay, because I just like to change my hairstyle up. But if you are one of those people who like to keep their sew-ins, their hairstyles them long, and you just rock it till the wheels fall off, when that thing starts to stink, or when it starts to look real matted, it's time to take it out. Please don't try to hold on to it, because the longer you hold on to it, stay in your hair, you got new growth out this world, okay? And you've had that hair in your hair for about 3 or 4 months. Now, after a period of time of you having it in it, plus you're not taking care of it, or you may be taking care of it, but you're just looking for that. But say you're not taking care of it, you're not really washing it like that, you wash it every blue moon, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When you keep your hair in for an extended amount of time, especially that starts to take a toll on your hair, because when your hair is braided for a long period of time, your hair is automatically more fragile, okay? And more brittle too, okay? But it hasn't been out in a while. So when you don't do that with your hair, that susceptible to breaking off and it being damaged. So I wouldn't recommend you to leave hairstyles in that long, especially if you're not taking care of them in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Now, but sew-ins are the better way to go because they help protect your hair. They are a protective hairstyle. Okay, and it's a less damaging route to go to than after gluing. Now, some disadvantages that some people might run into is that sew-ins do cost a little bit, but it depends on where you go to and where you are. Location is key on where you get your sew-in. It really is. Okay? Even though the braiding process is necessary, some people believe that is uncomfortable for them. So that might be a disadvantage if you're real tender-headed or real sensitive, you can't take the tightness of the braid, then yeah, that's a big disadvantage for having sewing, okay?
All right.
And plus, there's also a risk of you losing your real hair. Why? Because the braids underneath, those braids underneath are tight, and you're about to go over those braids with a needle and thread, and that's going to be tight as well because that has to be secure. That's tightness on top of tightness. So what's happening to your hair is being pulled more and more.
Right.
There is a risk. So if you do get a sew-in, make sure that it's not too tight. If it is, tell your beautician to just loosen up just a little bit, okay? Because that is a risk. Because whatever your hair feels like before the sewing, while you're getting that braid, while you're getting those braids, it's going to be about 2 to 3 times more tighter or more secure when she finishes that sewing, okay?
Okay.
Make sure you're comfortable at the jump, okay?
So is the key to have the...
Talk about it. Just talk.
So is
wrong with communication.
Is the key to first the braid not being extra tight?
Yes, that's the first key. If you're sitting in this chair and you're just uncomfortable and it's just too tight the way your head's just throbbing, don't even. I wouldn't wait until she's all the way done braiding to say, hey, it's too tight at the time, so that you could, loosen it up. Because it's too late now. And now she has to start all over. And then you make the beautician mad because she just spent all her time working on it and you just speaking up. They might not say anything to you about it, but they're fuming. I'm speaking on my behalf and the behalf of others sometimes. If you are one of those who don't speak up, that is a big problem because we don't read minds. I definitely don't. Speaking and communication is key with getting your hair done, period, because we can't see what you all see in your head. Therefore, you have to make it clear to us of what you want and how you want it. And if you're comfortable or if you're not comfortable. We, at the end of the day, are there to assist you and help you along your beauty career, all that good stuff. We just can't read your mind, so you have to speak up. And we don't know whether we're doing a good or bad job on your hair unless you speak up.
Good point.
Now, with gluing. Your hairdresser, whoever it may be, they have to make your hair straight or blow dry your hair. It's no point. It's nowhere around there because the whole purpose of people getting gluing is for it to look more natural, way more natural than a sewing. Okay, just your hair, just bam, just your hair. All right. Now, through the process, they carefully apply the glue. Okay, it's glue being added to either the top of that extension or the whole extension period. Okay. Now this is placed close to this is placed on your natural hair, as close to the scalp as possible, if not on it, okay?
Okay.
Now, after a minute or two of them blow drying it, because it do have to be dry before you move on, you got to blow dry for at least a minute, 30 seconds to a minute. Then you move on to the next part, and then you go ahead and finish it, okay? Now, here's the problem with that. The glue that goes in your hair, it's not meant to last forever.
Right.
Glue-ins don't last. They're not meant. If you expecting the glue-in to be in your hair for a whole month and a half without any touches or anything by week 2, or maybe you haven't even made it through week 1, you're sadly mistaken. Because there is not one female that can tell me that they have not had to tweak those glue-in extensions prior to a month in. You can't.
Right. So let me let me ask something though. The glue, does it start flaking or anything like that when women put glue in the hair?
No, the glue doesn't flake. Dandruff flakes. And the thing about it is that when you put that blow dryer on there, when the glue is dry and it's on your hair, it's on there. Okay. The only way you get that out is if you yank that out your hair, which I would recommend you not do, or you do it the right way, get some spray for glue removal, or like I do because I don't like to spend extra money if I don't have to.
True.
You can wet your hair, cool or not hot water, and just gently just lightly prick them out a little bit. Or just get it super wet and just try to comb it out as much as comb it out, okay? Don't be yanking. Don't say, Mommy said I can do. No, don't do that. Do what's best for you, okay? If you're not comfortable with what I do go on to the store and get you some glue remover, okay? But sometimes that don't work because sometimes that makes it harder, right?
Right.
So beware. So now, with the glue ends, along as I'm telling you with the yanking that out, that yanks out your hair too, because when it was initially put in your hair, it was put on the scalp, which is at the bare root of your head, okay?
Gotcha.
Root, that's the most important. When you take that out, or when you're doing styles that involve a lot of tugging as well, you're committing suicide with your hair.
Okay.
And also, when you're doing that, with glue-ins, you have to constantly put heat through your hair, unless you got the hair that's just naturally straight or whatever, and whatever stitches you want fit your curl pattern, then you're okay. But sometimes, for the most part, heat is applied to your hair almost every day, which is bad. That's really bad because that's damaging your hair altogether. Your hair is cooking. Like I said, every person's hair has a heat tolerance, okay? And after a while, with that flat iron constantly going, your hair will get eat up to where it breaks off, or the heat, your hair just can't take the heat, it breaks off. You got brittle hair, you got more split ends than what you went in with. It's just a whole mess. It's just a mess in general, okay?
Indeed.
A lot of people don't know how to take care of glue-ins, but they want the natural look. Glue-ins tend to be flatter. They are flatter, which is what makes them more natural, because nobody's hair is just naturally just huge. You have big flamboyant hair without a little help, okay?
Gotcha.
So with a glue-in, the advantages of having a glue-in, I mean, yes, they are cheaper and they take less time to do. But just because they take less time to do and they're cheaper doesn't necessarily mean that that has to be the way to go for your hair to look right. Always try to keep your hair special interest at heart, always. Because at the end of the day, that weave is temporary. It really is.
Yes, it is.
I'll do whatever. It's what's under that hair is more important. If your hair say no, you shall not go. I'm so serious. Listen. Listen to your hair. Your hair is just not a pill for everything, okay? If it's time for you to start over again and you don't want to, if your hair is set, your hair is too short, or your hair is breaking off real bad, and there's no way else up in there, or you do, but you have to cut a little bit, you can go ahead and start over. Say you don't like short styles. Get a wig. Last week I was saying, get your lace front or your silk base. There are so many options and so many things out there for there not to be any excuse for any female not to look on point. It just knocks all excuses out the bag. It really does.
Yeah, it does.
So there is no excuse. Whenever my clients say, well, this is why I said there's no excuse. There is none. Your hair, even if it's a cheap wig, it is something just for that moment. Or you can get on one of these new pills like Hair Affinity, Body Intense to help grow your hair. Wow. While you have on that wig or whatever you choose to have on.
That's some good advice right there. You can still take the hair vitamin stuff.
Yes. I do want to start this new one. There is this new hair vitamin. It's called Curable. It's not on the market yet. Right now they're in the trial day, 14-day trial or whatever. 14-day trial, you can pay for shipping, which is $4.95. And after those 14 days, or before those 14 days. If that isn't enough for you to see some progress, then you need to call them before 14 days is up for them to extend your trial date, okay? If not, don't tell you is you're going to get billed $87 for that file.
Mm. Not trying to pay 87.
Expensive. Carrot Grow is really expensive. But we'll see, though, because it just came out literally. I would say maybe a month ago, if that. Don't know yet for sure. Don't quote me on that. But it is brand new, and it's not on the market yet at all. So it's a good thing to try if you really want to. Just on the 14-day trial. You can always cancel. Nobody can get mad at you canceling. They can't do nothing about it. It's your money at the end of the day.
Indeed. All right.
That includes Heritage by Imani B.
Well, we appreciate you all the time for sharing with us the difference or the advantages or disadvantages of a sew-in versus a glue-in and snatching hair out.
Please don't. Please don't. You want to be called unless you voluntarily want to.
Indeed. How can people get in contact with you, send you questions, and all that kind of stuff?
Well, you can always contact me through the TheBeatDropsRadio, of course, and you can also email me, Imani Burwell at gmail.com, IMANIBURWELL at gmail.com. You can also follow me on IG. I just follow back, IMANI_PYR.
Well, thank you, lady. We appreciate it. So next time, same channel, all that stuff?
Got it right.
We appreciate you, lady. Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you next week. Have a good weekend.
You too.
All right. Here's Tips by Imani B. Keep it locked right here on the Bianca Burwell Show. MC like Craven. And we got so much more coming up. The Real and Real Estate later on. And Justin Ross Harris indicted for murder. Keep it locked. great show, then contact the Beat Drops Radio and email your YouTube links, website, and contact information to TheBeatDropsRadio@gmail.com to set up an appointment today. Actively, as we are gearing up for the new year and expanding our network to include interesting, creative, fun, original, and captivating shows, and this just might be you. We are a family-friendly, top 40 pop and R&B station located in the Atlanta metro area. Now, if you don't live in the Atlanta area and have pre-recorded shows, we have time slots available for you too. Don't delay and email us today to TheBeatDropsRadio@gmail.com.
They all have in common is their skin is so clear. I know papaya is Peruvian asphalt in I-94. It's got to be the duck face and Moroccan overboil. I know that works. So what is it?
It's power shake.
Power what?
An aftershave lotion that blends deep and anti-inflammatory and safe.
That sounds pretty good, but how does it help you?
It prevents bumps, ingrown hairs, and razor burns. It helps reduce salt and soreness of the skin.
That sounds like a fantastic product. Man, what about the ladies? I know some ladies there.
Ladies are covered too with primer. It prevents discoloration, itching, resulting from hair removal. It's the fastest way to expose the skin. This will result in 100%.
Man, I've been putting all this stuff on my face. I could have been using power shave all the time.
Yes, you could have. I tell you what you could do.
The Web Zone, Stone Mountain's premier state-of-the-art technology center, invites you to listen to today's hit music, enjoy refreshments, network, and plug into the World Wide Web in our relaxing atmosphere. Located in Northeast Atlanta, the Web Zone Cyber Cafe offers a convenient and enjoyable location to check your email, surf the internet, print, scan, fax documents, and make copies, all in one location. Visitors can connect to the internet using our high-speed computers and receive online assistance at no additional charge. Our 1,500 square feet cyber cafe is staffed with highly qualified and knowledgeable trainers. Ask about our mobile training for seniors program. We deliver up to 8 internet-ready computers to your community center and train seniors to effectively use the computer and safely surf the internet. Visit us online at www.thewebzoneatl.com or call 770-465-4000 for more information and rates. The Web Zone. Get away and get online.
Hey, what's that? I hear playing on the channel.
You are tuned in to the Bianca Burwell Show. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. All our folks from Texas, California, Alabama, and the Philippines. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. The calling number is 404-826-9223. Again, 404-826-9223 is the calling number. The listen line is 401-347-0418. If you want to see everything that's happening as it happens, just go to TheBeatDropsRadio.com and click on Watch Live. The Q&A box is open. If you want to join the conversation, just click that. It's a little link. It says Join the Conversation. Click that, and you'll be able to type in whatever you want to type. There's a whole lot going on in the news right now. But I do want to mention this. We know about the whole situation that's going on with the ISIL, ISIS. I don't even know. Which one is it? ISIL, ISIS? Say both. And President Barack Obama has said a few things, and then, you know, Secretary of State Kerry has said others, and just everybody has their thoughts. The Vice President, he's vowing to, man, just all kinds of stuff has taken place. But what I don't understand is this: why are we playing word games? Why are we? Do we want the president to say we're blowing up all of y'all stuff? Will we be happy then if he says we're going to dismantle or we're going to annihilate or we're going to? What's with the word games? It means the same thing. Stop sitting around. To me personally, this is just my thought of trying to analyze to death what the president is saying. It all means the same thing. Good gracious! I've never seen this much. What's the best word to use? I don't know. It seems like an attempt to try to embarrass, disrespect. I mean, nobody has ever 100% liked any president that we had in office, but it just seemed like extracurricular stuff, you know. No, we never saw a president in a tan or light-colored suit. But didn't it look good, though? Look good. Maybe the Bushes couldn't get away with wearing a tan suit. Just saying. But at any rate, he said that the U.S. and its allies will degrade and ultimately defeat the Islamic State. And apparently, they've been so good on social media because there is an American within their ranks that is helping to recruit and obviously knows quite a bit about social media, knows his way around it. And, of course, they have figured that out, and they're looking for that gentleman. We'll talk about that later. But speaking to reporters Friday at the close of the NATO summit in Wales, President Obama said he is confident an international coalition who have, well, actually the coalition can be formed that can push back the militants who have seized large amounts of territory in Iraq and Syria. So Obama said NATO members agree unanimously that the Islamic State possesses or poses a significant threat to countries within the alliance. And he said they recognize they need to take action. And what he said, and I quote, "I do not get any resistance or pushback to the basic notion that we have a critical role to play in rolling back the savage organization that is causing so much chaos in the region and is harming so many people." That is what President Obama said. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel spearheaded the effort Friday on the sidelines of the NATO summit in Wales. The State Department says 10 countries were represented at the meeting, including the United States, Britain, France, and Germany. Australia was the only non-NATO member that was present at this particular meeting. So Kerry assured and reassured the leaders that the U.S. is not talking about sending ground forces into Iraq. He refers to that as a red line, quote unquote, for everybody. I hope they don't get this misconstrued again, because last time somebody said red line, we heard that term red line backwards and forwards, good Lord. But at any rate, but he said that there are many ways the coalition could train, advise, assist, and equip Iraq security forces and others prepared to take on the militants. Western leaders have said they will not be intimidated by the Islamic State, which has beheaded now two American journalists and is threatening to kill a third captive in Britain in response to U.S. airstrikes against the militants' positions in Iraq. So it's a huge mess that's going on over there, and hopefully they can get that taken care of and taken care of soon. We know this isn't something that's going to be overnight. It didn't form overnight. Just saying. You know what? On the way in, I do listen to the Rush Limbaugh show. Some of you all that listen to me on a regular basis know that I sometimes listen. Well, actually, I listen to the Rush Limbaugh show on a regular basis. Now, somebody may say, why? Well, you need to know what everybody is saying. Don't just cue your ears into one side of a conversation, because therefore you have absolutely no idea what others are saying. Now, it does appear that what happens is that when people listen to an argument, they hear what they want to hear. Maybe it's just me, but they hear what they want to hear, and they make assumptions on the rest of it. So what has happened, and hopefully nobody died outside the door, but what has ended up happening is that the comments that are made, assumptions and all of that, what ends up, it's either the left or the right. They're saying the leftists or the rightists or whatever. They're saying that this is a government-run country. I hear you. And that the Democrats want everybody to be completely and 100% dependent upon the government. I don't know about that, but okay. But these are assumptions. And what it is, the EIB network is one of the largest listened to news talk radio broadcasting entities, if you didn't know this. So there are some people who call in and they say they are the only ones that they listen to. I think that's dangerous. That's just me personally, and I can say that because I'm on the station. But it's dangerous to only listen to one side of something, because you start making assumptions about things and people that you absolutely have no idea about. I don't know anybody that wants to completely and totally be dependent upon the government. I don't know any. I know several entrepreneurs and business owners. That is not the goal. Also, another thing that I heard is that they were complaining about a gentleman who had gotten arrested in Ferguson. And he was one of the protesters. And he said that he had been working at McDonald's for 22 years, making $8.75 or something like that an hour. And they were saying that, see, that's part of a Obama-run country. Okay, he said 22 years. Last I checked, 22 years ago, President Barack Obama was in his 20s, and he wasn't even thinking about running the country. But we can, were we under a Republican president at that time, y'all? 22 years ago? Was that Reagan?
Nixon 20 years ago?
About 20 years ago.
Nixon.
Was that Nixon?
Nixon, and then Carter, then Reagan.
That was Reagan.
We can Google it.
You know, we don't do that. But I'm just saying, because I remember, if y'all remember, there was a sitcom that used to come on back in the day called Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that there was one episode where they were saying, yeah, under the Reagan administration, now 2 people got to go to work. Because before then, it was sufficient for the man to be able to take care of the household.
Wow.
Just saying, I remember stuff like this. I can say it. All right, so mentioning Ferguson, they're talking about, again, the age-old minimum wage and bringing up the minimum wage and all of that. This is something that's going to be...
George W. Bush was president.
George W. Bush was president 22 years ago. All right, there you go. Nobody wants to talk about that, though. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No
We got
problem.
Sheila Spider in the building. She's going to be coming up shortly. Actually, the next segment she'll be coming up. So I've had my thoughts and my comments in regards to minimum wage and how I feel about it because I ran restaurants. I ran many of them. I was a district manager. I had many managers up under me, and I ran many stores, and I had one of the most profitable districts. And I'm just saying to y'all, and I'll say it again, minimum wage was never ever designed to support a household. It was meant to be a stepping stone for you to look forward to getting something else. I don't know why folks are trying to support their families off of just minimum wage. I don't know what's happening there, but we all had, matter of fact, when I was younger, minimum wage was like $3.15. What, no way you gonna take care of your household with $3.15. But I will say this, if they start bringing that minimum wage up higher, because while I was employing people, I saw it go from one rate. By the time I left the hospitality industry, it had reached $7.25 an hour. If those things are moved up, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're not going to like it. What's going to happen is that dollar menu is going to go bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.
All of those other folks that you see, that's going to leave. You're going to see more automated stuff, and people are going to lose jobs. I'm just letting you know that things are the way they are, and they're priced the way they are. Never get upset with folks because you're not battling McDonald's, the corporation, Burger King, the corporation. Do you understand what I'm saying? There are a lot of franchisees, that are small business owners that have bought into something that most of the time they're paying the employee first, and they walk away with no paycheck. And it's a lot of us that are like that pay our people before we get paid. And therefore, if we got to pay more out that's coming in, then some things are going to get cut. Just letting y'all know, look at things from a different perspective outside of just, I look at my check and I got $70 for the week. They need to pay me more. No, that's an indicator that maybe you might want to reinvent yourself. And if you're 45 working at McDonald's, you might want to look at yourself entirely different now. This is not to say or talk about folks that maybe they need to take a part-time something to supplement, but to make a fast food job the only source that you have. I'm talking about as an employee, because the managers, they are not hurting. I just want y'all to know this. They're making 50 and up, and I was one of the highest paid ones, and I made 80 grand a year, just letting you know. All right, so at any rate, look at things from a different perspective, not just from one. You're hurting small business owners, and they cannot afford to pay you $15 an hour, plus keep a dollar menu, and have all of y'all folks that's sitting in there barely doing nothing. Let's be real. There's some lazy folk.
Mm-hmm.
I know many a time y'all have gone to a fast food restaurant and somebody in there, Julie is on the phone with Sally, and then Man is in the back texting. You understand what I'm saying? We're going to have to require more and demand more from the people. All right, I'm off my soapbox. I do want to say this, though. A lot is going on. The Department of Justice is still investigating the situation that's going on up there in Ferguson. We'll learn more about that. Up next, we have the Real in Real Estate with Sheila Spivey, and she has a special guest, Benji Nunn. We're going to be talking about rebuilding your credit. So if you got questions about your credit, and you know it's toe up, and you need help, or maybe you need to fine-tune a couple things. Just saying. Apparently, you need credit to buy stuff. That's what they say. So, if your credit is toe up, make sure you give us a call. 404-826-9223 right now. Snoop Dogg with PSY Hangover. Keep it like right here on the Bianca Burwell Show. You know, like soapboxes 89.
Thank you, Benji, for giving me my new C-Class Mercedes. I appreciate it.
They can hear us on the visual. Headphones.
All right, let's rock and roll.
The call-in number is 404-826-9223. I appreciate everybody for tuning in and listening to the Bianca Burwell Show. As I said before, I have Miss Sheila Spivey putting the real in real estate. What's going on, lady?
Nothing much, girl.
I'm so
Fabulous
glad.
Friday. Fabulous Friday.
Yes, it is. I'm so glad to have you in, and you know, we're gonna learn a few things today, Miss Sheila.
Yes, we are.
We're putting the real
store that credit.
Putting the real in real estate and restoring credit.
Yes.
People's credits toe up.
Man, toe up from the blow up in Blue Night. We're gonna get through this thing, y'all. We're gonna get through this thing. We have Mr. Benji Nunn with us. He's a credit expert, credit guru. Thanks for being here with me, Benji.
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And I like to use the term of, didn't you just credit challenge?
Yeah, okay.
Credit challenge?
Okay, I like those words.
Toe up. But I'm working with you, Mr. Benji. I'm working with you. What's the name of your business, sir?
Credit docs.
Credit Docs? Is that the way I can look it up? I can just type in Credit Docs?
You can just type in credit docs. You can Google me.
You Googleable. Googleable. That's another word I just made it up.
I love it.
How long have you been in this line of business?
In this line of business, 3-4 years now.
Really? What made you go into the credit? Because, you know, I'm just saying, some of us aren't too happy about going into the credit field. That's usually something we try to stay away from. We put something in mama's name or daddy name. Even a 2-year-old child. Let's be real.
No. All these things are I've seen it happen. Hey, I'm come from the 80s, so I know all about, you know, creative financing is what they would probably call it back then.
Creative, being real creative. We gonna get this TV one way or another. Cool.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to go into?
Oh yeah. What made me get this? Well, to be honest, started off just me and my friends. You know, we were some of us we came from real estate backgrounds, and I know for me, while that wasn't necessarily my background initially, I did the regular corporate America, did really well for my age, so to speak, and hit a situation where finances and the job security was no longer there. So all those things you accumulate, you know, you have to reaccumulate. And I found that I wasn't necessarily the only one that happened to.
Wow.
And it wasn't necessarily, it transcended creed, race, across the board, because everyone, and this is around the 2005s, you know, around the time when everyone kind of took a hit.
Yeah.
So the face of credit kind of changed face, so to speak, and we really got together and we started working on each other's, you know, and that evolved into a consulting firm, which now strands into real estate, and now we are that one-stop shop, so that the client can come from nothing and have something. At the end of the day,
you can bring something out of nothing. Is that what you're preaching to me today?
A way out of the way.
I'm not making sure, you know, because sometimes things happen, you know, and I don't profess to be someone that understands actually everything that goes on with credit and how it works and how it's tallied, you know, especially if somebody like who's, you know, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner.
Absolutely.
You know, and I have my business that's set up, and that's aside from my personal.
Absolutely.
You know, and I've been taught you want to be corporate rich. This is to the entrepreneurs now. Okay, please don't get it. You want to be corporate rich, personally poor.
Absolutely.
That is it.
No, you hit it dead on the head. As a matter of fact, anybody in Forbes probably wasn't there by choice. They're probably not excited about being in Forbes either.
Is that right?
Just notoriety. You don't necessarily always want that. That always brings audits.
Wow. Yeah, we don't want all this.
No, we don't like those people.
We trying to stay away from stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, cool beans.
Mhm.
So you've helped a number of people.
Right. And the industry that I represent is literally maybe 10 to 15 years in this industry. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau has had it since then.
That's good.
Over 600,000 derogatories. And derogatories, that can include bankruptcies, that can include judgments, tax liens, student records for that matter.
What's been the hardest thing that you've done?
The hardest
The
thing.
hardest thing, because you know how everybody feels that their situation is the absolute worst situation.
To be honest, the hardest situation I've dealt with is people who tried themselves and then asked me to help them afterwards.
And then it made a mess.
That's usually after they muddied the waters and kind of figured out, hey, it isn't just writing a letter.
Right.
And maybe I do actually need some professional help.
Yeah, that's what some people say. Just write a letter.
You have to follow up on that
And
letter.
send it. And then you should be good. It takes a little more than
It
that.
takes a little bit more than that.
Just a little bit more.
Just a little bit.
All right, Miss Sheila. I
Yes,
done took
ma'am.
all over you.
That's fine,
Your
honey.
personality.
You're so good at doing that.
You
So
know.
that's your job.
I
No
just
problem.
wanted to make sure I understood, how long you've been in it and all
Yeah.
of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's
You know.
legit. Benji, when you're coming out of a bankruptcy, a person who's been discharged from their bankruptcy, how long do you think it would take them to recover and be able to buy? The reason why I'm asking is because I'm proud to say I just closed with a couple who were bankrupt and foreclosed on 3 years ago. And I was so proud of her when she was able to close 2 weeks ago on another house. And I probably will bring her into the station one day so she can share her testimony to
Sounds extraordinary.
yes, but
Yeah.
that's just kind of let people know out there that just because you filed a bankruptcy, it's not going to take you 7 years. It's not going to take you 10 years. What's one of the first things that you would suggest for a person to do that's coming out of a bankruptcy?
The first thing I would do, and this is not necessarily just for someone in a bankruptcy situation, but anyone who has credit challenged or challenged credit in general, take control of it. Empower yourself. Go ahead and get your reports. Nothing's wrong, and there are a lot of free avenues that are out there so that you can actually at least get some information. You can, of course, go to freeannualreport.com, and that information is free. While you want to see your scores, you will at least get your reports. Credit Karma is really good for at least one bureau. If you're looking to maybe get more of a robust situation and you actually get all 3 scores and all 3 reports, you can go with routes and take advantage of it that way. But my biggest thing is just get involved. Go ahead and get your hands dirty. Go ahead and let's pull the information and let's get someone who's professionally able to look at that information. Because everyone that I talk with, we do a credit diagnosis long before there's ever any discussion of what to remove and what to update or what to correct. Because a lot of times, because of the Fair Credit Reporting Act and because of the Debt Collection Act and even some of the HIPAA laws that are out there, consumers have a lot more laws and should feel a lot more empowered than they do currently. And it's usually because what they don't know, it's kind of that fear of the unknown. And if I kind of delve into this, where will I find, and then this is one of those things too, is that they know that for a fact that is their thing. How do I combat that? Because this is a taboo thing to discuss. So the biggest thing is kind of take the shade away from it, the stigma from it, and everyone has been there and can go there. Everyone's a 30 day late from being in a situation, So look at it from that standpoint, and let's start talking about it and have more dialogue. Financial literacy is the biggest thing.
Okay, and with their once they pull their credit report, what credit score is considered strong now in America? I know with a 620, some 580s, you're able to purchase a house. Where do you want your credit score to sit?
And blame it on inflation, blame it on just the market. Market determines everything. You being in real estate know that. Home purchases can change and alter based on perception.
Right.
So it's really just based on consumer empowerment and intelligence in that sense. So it's always going to raise based on what's going on in the market. So right now, lenders aren't comfortable with doing a lot of lending unless you are in the 700s. And when I say 700s, high 750s. It used to be 740 and 720 was that great credit standpoint. 750 and above is really where you want to be now.
That's excellent credit score.
750.
Yeah, that's an excellent credit score.
You can. How can I get to 750? You can do it, sugar. I'm trying to get to 62. I'm trying to get to 5.
And the funny thing is that
I don't mean to break all up, but I ain't even looking at 7. I'm trying to get
When
to
you said 7, I'm like, well, you can buy it 626.
you can buy a
But you
620.
can, right,
Don't
but
you
you
try
want to
to?
get the best interest rate.
At
And to get
750, you're
you're
not
not gonna-
concerned. Right.
Exactly.
When you are lower than that is when they need to look at bank statements, when they need to delve a little bit more. When you're at a 750 above, you're really taking advantage of the best interest rates.
Yes, you are. And everything. What's some things that we can do to increase our credit score?
And I know these sound kind of stable, at least to me, but some people may not know this information, but really just paying your bills on time. Most people aren't aware that you can move your payment dates. You know, so contact the people who you do business with, and if your pay structure isn't meeting with the dates that you have bills due on, alter those dates, change those. Don't necessarily just be.
I got a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You can move your payment date?
Oh my God.
I'm talking about what?
Most
Probably most companies. Is that the power company too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some you can call
Just like pick up the phone.
and say that date don't work for me.
My payday or my SSI check don't hit until the 15th.
Why be
Can I-
late if you can just make a
Change
phone
the
call?
Change it's the gas bill, everything.
Just move it around.
You can move your stuff around, and they let you.
And if not, they may not. And now utilities may be a little
It might
different.
be a little
It may be a little different. But
challenging.
most credit card companies, most mortgage
What
companies,
about cell phone?
cell phone companies.
Except for Metro PCS. That's for all the going to live in Atlanta. We got some folks nationwide listening.
Metro PCS is nationwide.
Is it?
Yeah.
You ain't know. I mean, I thought folks were
Girl,
using
I've been-
Cricket. My hometown is Cricket. They use Cricket.
I have no problems with Metro PCS. It's, at
They
one point in my life, it's hey, it was a great day. It was good times.
All right, so thank you. I learned something.
Yeah.
Change dates.
We can change the dates. I don't get paid like you.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Just something as simple as that. And, you know, other than that, you can learn the credit game. Obviously, of course, you can participate in it. I mean, that if anyone's familiar, I like to use this example of the term algorithm. Most people are familiar with it when you talk about Google, how to remain or how to get on the top of Google search engine, that kind of thing. But basically, all the algorithm means is that there is a systematic way to number crunch and create a score and create a way of scoring people. So I say all that to say that your credit score is nothing but an algorithm. And if you learn the algorithm, it's a process of having so many revolvings, so many installments, so many years, so much tenure, credit history, utilization. That makes up an algorithm that creates a score. So essentially, if you learn the algorithm, you can create a perfect score.
Speak a little bit more what you just said, because a lot of people don't understand the different types of credit that hit your report as far as an installment loan versus
A revolving.
a revolving loan.
Right.
And when purchasing a house, those things are important. You want a little bit of both.
Absolutely. You got to have a balance, and that's why even in the credit restoration or repair service, deleting items on a person's credit report is a part of that process. But you have to always be conscious and cautious of that, because if you remove everything from someone's report, that doesn't always increase their score, because you have to have.
You've got to have credit to win in America.
So you don't want to get rid of all your revolving.
Oh my God, no.
No.
And
And if you do, you need to at least replace it. And that's what it comes to when we talk about rebuilding credit. While you may lose that tenure and use that credit history, because it was a bad revolving account, so to speak, it was in collections for so long, it may be more hurtful than beneficial for your standpoint. You can't necessarily get that item corrected. Let's start completely over. You don't have to go bankrupt. So you may lose that tenure, but that tenure wasn't necessarily the best good in the first place. So why not just start completely over? What if we have to go secure? What if we have to go unsecure? Either way, once it reports, then it's still benefiting you.
And say if you had some derogatory credit, you paid it off. How many days should we allow that company to remove that from our? When should we see the increase in our credit? Should it be 2 weeks, 30 days, 60 days?
Realistically, the bureaus have legally 30 days to investigate your report. and investigate your claims. Every person has the right to dispute any item on their credit report, but the bureau still have an opportunity to actually refute that information. Okay, so that's that investigation process. That when you talk about disputing and sending letters and that sort of thing, that's how that process begins. The bureaus can come back verifying everything that you said that wasn't the case was actually the case, and you could lose. It's possible, but you have the right to dispute that information, and that's you as a consumer. Every consumer in the world, or I'm sorry, in America, has the right to do that. So, to answer your question, yeah, the bureaus have up to 30 days.
Okay.
Now, since the bureaus are independent of each other, meaning they're not government entities, even though they are called bureaus. They are regular privately held companies, just like Walmart and Staples. As a matter of fact, one of the companies was actually a foreign company at one point before they were actually on American soil. So they're just privatized companies that have been buying and selling your information behind the scenes for us since the 1930s, easily.
Who checks them? I'm just wondering because I'm wondering because Experian sometimes is different from Equifax, which is different from TransUnion.
And that's why FICO is sometimes created, because they're trying to find the meat. And that's what FICO does, and they're recreating the wheel in terms of, that's why we start seeing more consumer laws and more consumer-friendly laws that are coming out now. Because there's so much misinformation about the bureaus. And the biggest reason is because they have the right to place an item on your report before verifying it.
Exactly.
And that starts
I have a problem with that.
That starts the whole problem.
I have a problem with that because I'm like, look, call me. Ask me. Is this
we don't answer unknown numbers.
I wonder how that worked. We were working.
They call me like, that is not me. I didn't do it. I don't know what they're talking about. I paid all my stuff. But I do wonder who governs them. I used to work for Equifax back in the day, but I was on the insurance side. And that's before they launched ChoicePoint. I was part of that initial whole launch, and then they separated because people didn't feel comfortable giving a credit bureau their medical information. So they branched off, and then I left. But I'm just, I saw stuff, and I was like, now, for y'all to not be really governed, but you affect people's lives tremendously. It just seems to me that there should be some kind of check and balance type system, or maybe we shouldn't even weigh on that as much as it's possible. That it's weighed on. No,
it's just because it's tradition. It's been a part of life and a process of life.
And we don't challenge it. We don't challenge any laws in America. We have the right to write laws and combat them, but we don't. We just accept it. And that's something I want to, but it's so hard when you're just trying to make a living from day to day. But it's a lot of laws out here that we haven't changed laws in America since we've been here. We've been here how long? About 400 years. Yeah, we've been under the same law. And the world operates totally different now. A lot of things has happened, and it's just a different day.
There's a lot of things that are outdated.
It's a lot of things. I'm like, who has the time to go down to that building with that gold stuff around it and try to get this stuff rectified?
Exactly.
But that's what we're doing.
And that's what the Fair Credit Reporting Act essentially is for. It gives a way to empower people and to take power into their own hands and actually refute their own information. The problem we run into is that the same way you could represent yourself in court, if you wanted to be your own lawyer, you could essentially do the same thing when it comes to restoration and credit repair. The problem is that you may not necessarily, it may be the same, you may not do as well. While you can represent yourself in court, who does? They always hire a lawyer, don't they?
Right, they do. So if I, as an individual that used to work, used to make a lot of money, don't make a lot of money anymore, had to downsize, file bankruptcy, those are not favorable things, but this is reality that a lot of people are facing.
A lot of people deal with that.
And then I'm tired of living in an apartment. I've worked on my credit a little bit. I'm thinking I'm somewhere in the range. And, then the credit reports are pulled and they say, you don't have a lot going on. What can I do to get myself in that range? I'm just saying that. I'm not dealing with that because we bought a house. But I'm just saying that as a general type situation, what are the things that I need to do, or should I do, at least the initial steps to get myself somewhere where I need to be? Besides calling you.
Besides calling me. Well, definitely, I would say definitely contact us first, just so that you can have a firm assessment on your profile, and if nothing else, learn as much as you can, because there is a lot of information out there. Go to mint.com, go to fico.com, because there's a lot of information where you at least can just learn free information, so to speak. And Google is definitely a very, very good resource.
Yes.
But like I said, there's a lot of misinformation. So what I would recommend for anyone to do is pull your report first. Okay. Try to get access to all three if you can, and then from there, put together a plan of action to actually look at how you can remove those derogatories. And I wouldn't contact them in person as much as I would do it in writing. Understand that a collection agency, they bought your debt from the original company. Understand? So essentially, that original company was already paid. It was written off. So you got into business as a consumer with Macy's, as an example.
Okay.
And if they sell that account, then if you can no longer pay Macy's and you didn't get into debt or get into business with a company outside of that, then who are you supposed to contact? Make sure you reach out to these collection agencies and have them verify how they were able to access your information. Make sure they can verify who they are with you. I would never be afraid to answer the phone for any collection agency contacting me, for that matter, because if you can verify and prove who you are and how I was able to, how I accumulated this particular debt, where was the signatures? Where did this happen from?
You better talk, because I know I'm not the only one. You see an 800, be like,
Right.
You don't have to be afraid of. See, that's what we teach in our company. You do not have to be afraid of these companies as much as you have to know your law. Just be aware.
So you can challenge and say, where are the signatures? I need you to provide that.
Prove it.
And if they can't, what if they can't provide that, but they're still calling you?
You acknowledging and making payment arrangements on a debt is and before verifying that this actually is something that's viable and that you should pay. That is one of the, while admirable things that you can do as a consumer, it doesn't always help you, because while they have 7 years to report that bad debt, if it's already exceeded 7 years and you accept the phone call and decide to make a payment arrangements, you start 7 years all over again.
Right, the statute of limitations, you begin it again.
They're going to contact you because they hope that you're going to answer the phone and you're going to say, okay, let me make an arrangement. You could have already paid the debt off and it could have still been sold off to a new company.
I hope y'all hearing that out there in Texas, Massachusetts, California, Philippines. I don't know about the Philippines because y'all in a different country, but y'all know what I'm saying. Everybody in the United States, how about that? Everybody in the United States.
But there's, like I said, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and that's what we hope to, just get rid of all the myths, and hopefully we can empower people.
Oh man, I appreciate that.
I have a question. Which credit card would you recommend coming out of the box to try to restore your credit? You don't have any credit. No, you have bad credit. No one is giving you a credit card. Everybody tells us about these prepaid credit cards. What is your suggestion on the best company to get with that prepaid that's going to restore the credit?
Let's see here.
That's a good question.
That is a really good question. As a matter of fact, we have a few credit cards on our website, in our credit rebuilding section on credit-docs.com. Now, there's a company called Open Sky, and they offer secured cards up to about maybe, and these are cards that you have to fund, so to speak.
Prepaid.
Right. But the secured cards are really cool in the sense that even if you aren't necessarily able to get approved for a regular unsecured card, having a secured card that will convert in, let's say, maybe 6 to 7 months after you show good payment history, and you have to make purchases on the card. One thing you can't do is just get the card, just hold it, and assume that they can judge your credit worthiness based on you never utilizing the card. But be responsible enough to be able to use it within those 20 to 30% limits. They convert that card into a regular unsecured line of credit with that.
Really?
And then that automatically starts reporting to your benefit. As long as that occurs, and you're in good shape. And the best thing about that particular process is that While you can go to somewhere like a Capital One and they may actually issue you out a regular secure card where you don't have to put a deposit down on, in some cases where you can fund that. So you can put up to $2,000 on a secured card to have a $2,000 unsecured limit at the end of the day. Why not do that? If you have the option, if you have the opportunity to afford to be able to do that, because in 6 months you can then go and ask for a credit increase.
Interesting. After 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months is like a magic number in credit for some reason.
And the worst case they can say is no, and then you can try it again in 6 months. But think about it, where you start a firm versus where you now can ask for an increase. Whereas, like I said, you can go to a regular, reputable, Wells Fargo even offers secure cards, but typically it'll be in the $200, $300 ranges, that kind of thing. But if you had an opportunity to actually deposit and put funds on the card that you wanted to be able to become unsecured, why wouldn't you do that?
Now they report.
They report to all 3 bureaus.
Secure cards report.
That's why you want to make sure you get one that reports.
That's why I say I actually have some on our website that actually we know for that we've already vetted. They report to all 3 bureaus.
Now that's good information. We appreciate that.
So no, that is totally possible.
All right. Well, cool beans. Michelle?
Yes, ma'am. Let's see. What's your website that we can get more of this information from?
Sure. Credit-docs.com.
Okay, and the phone number for your company?
1-855-438-2740.
Put that number out there in the atmosphere one more time, Mr. Benji.
1-855-GET-A-740.
All righty.
Oh, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
You better go ahead and spell out some stuff. We appreciate that. Appreciate you for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Especially that segment, Keeping It Real in Real Estate with Sheila Spider. I keep it like right here. So I'm sorry, is there anyone that you want to say hello to and acknowledge prior to anything?
Oh, I can actually do a shout.
No. You can do that. You got a new baby boy. Do you?
Yes, we do.
Oh man, we gotta give it applause for that too. Congrats.
No, it's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah.
And he gets a chance to see his dad work, and obviously see his dad work for himself. And one of those things that definitely I'm something excited about. So definitely give a shout out to my son, Elijah. But I would also love to give a shout out to my wonderful staff at Credit Docs. We have a wonderful list of credit specialists, certified credit consultants who can answer your calls today. 1-855-438-2740. And you can get your credit consultation started today. That doesn't cost you anything other than some time and get some good information straight fast.
Say that again. Say that because we like free. Say that again.
Free consultation, especially if you mention a radio show.
Oh, see, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thanks so much for having me
on the show. You guys keep it like right here on the Bianca Burwell Show. We'll be right back after this.
Thank you. That was good.
Thank you.
That was a long one.
That was cool. That was it?
My hot flashes were so bad, I would kick my
We
head
ain't talking about
nickel. You don't know. If I want to see three people who make tons of money and have no talent, I will not watch you guys. I will watch the Kardashians. And it's... What happened to your eye? What happened? I scratched it on Al Roker's zipper, and it was just...
And now it's time to bring up the man of the hour, comedy legend Joan Rivers.
I do an upside down glass because I have not seen cups this empty since I did shots with Tina Love. But I'm sure some of you out there are wondering if my breasts are real, okay? Let me just explain to you. Thank you. This one is, this one isn't. What we do is a calling, my dear. We make people happy. It's a calling.
You guys, that's the voice of the late Joan Rivers. And a lot of us are in shock right now because but she definitely had a fulfilling life. And of course, if it was up to her, she would still be rocking. She had so many scheduled dates, even still booked out for the rest of the year. Joan Rivers dies at age 81. My heart goes out to her daughter, Melissa. And they had just so many things. And Melissa released her statement when her mother passed that it is with great sadness that I announced the death of my mother, Joan Rivers. She passed peacefully at 117, surrounded by family. This was on Thursday. And close friends. My son and I would like to thank the doctors, nurses, and staff of Mount Sinai Hospital for the amazing care they provided for my mother. Cooper and I have found ourselves humbled by the outpouring of love, support, and prayers we have received from around the world. They have been heard and appreciated. My mother's greatest joy in life was to make people laugh. Although this is really difficult right now to do, I know her final wish would be that we return to laughing soon. Now, the comedian Joan Rivers was taken to Mount Sinai on Thursday after going into a cardiac arrest during a routine procedure at Yorkville Endoscopy on the Upper East Side. She was placed on life support and before being moved out of the ICU, and that was earlier that Wednesday. She just had a wonderful presence all over the place. She did live from the red carpet, Fashion Police. But before all of that, Joan Rivers dominated talk shows and book sales with her comedy work. Born in Brooklyn as Joan Alexandra Malinsky, Rivers took her stage name in the late 1950s, doing stand-up in small plays and dingy clubs and cafes in New York City. She became an overnight sensation after a magnetic guest performance on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson in 1965. Which led to appearances on other 60s favorites like The Ed Sullivan Show, as well as her own daytime talk show, The Show, with Joan Rivers. By the 1970s and 80s, however, Rivers began leaving the talk show circuit. She penned the TV movie The Girl Most Likely To, wrote and directed the Billy Crystal Star Rabbit Test, landed a host gigging on Saturday Night Live in 1983, and even garnered a Grammy Award nomination for her comedy album, What Becomes of Semi-Legends Most. And, that's something I miss right now as far as comedians are concerned, because they used to do all kinds of comedy albums, and they just don't do that anymore like they used to do. I miss that. I just want to say how much I miss that yet again, that the comedy albums just aren't as popular as they used to be. Everybody saw the whole fallout that took place with Johnny Carson and Joan Rivers when she, basically rivaled him. I don't think it was something that she was trying to fight him or anything like that. She wanted to be seen as moving up and doing more things and going further in her career. But of course, Johnny Carson didn't see it that way, and hence, the disconnect that took place. The Joan Rivers show, and she also had a wonderful presence on QVC where she was promoting her line of jewelry. Turn on E or TV Guide, and there she was again, gabbing away with the stars, excuse me, with the A list to the F. She even played herself on FX's Nip Tuck. Was a regular guest on Howard Stern's radio show and brought her daughter Melissa in tow for the second season of Celebrity Apprentice. And that happened in 2009 that she won Celebrity Apprentice. And she was 76 years old then. I mean, she just had so much drive. And, she just constantly did all kinds of things. And, boy, of course she had a sharp tongue. And she said what it is that she wanted to say, and regardless as to what, I hope that I'm going to mention this, that her and Cara Brunette I hope they patched whatever situation took place between the two of them, because I remember watching the reality show with Joan Rivers and her daughter, and she went to sit down with Cara Brunette, and Cara Brunette had a humongous problem because she's, couldn't get over what happened, I don't know, 30 years ago. With all that being said, you just want to kind of let people know, give them their flowers while they're on this side. She took a lot of flack while she was here, and we appreciated her comedy, her wit, and her drive. 81, my goodness, I can't even imagine. But I will say this, if she didn't have all those surgeries, and she used to say before that with the plastic surgeries is because this industry, entertainment, looks favorably upon youth, and that's the reason why she underwent the knife so much, is because she was trying to stay working, stay active. How she would have looked if she had not gone through all of that. And again, it wasn't elective surgery that she was having, throat surgery. She just looked at it as a minor procedure. But you have to remember, she's 81 years old. She was 81, and once you get to a certain age, I mean, elective stuff becomes quite critical. So with that being said, a funeral for Joan Rivers will be held September 7th, and I think that's on a Sunday, September 7th. Her funeral will be held, and we heard the jokes about her wanting this humongous type party of a funeral, her hair blowing like even harder than Beyonce in the casket. She wanted Meryl Streep to cry in 3 different languages. I mean, she just very witty, and we will miss you, Joan Rivers. And we appreciate everybody so much for tuning in today to the Bianca Burwell Show. And also our guest that came in, Benji Nunn. Benji Nunn, United Credit Educational Services. United Credit Education Services. And the website for him, united-credit.org. United-credit.org. Benji Nunn, he is the Regional Sales Director there. The number is 1-855-438-2740. 855-438-2740. And apparently he can give you all kinds of free consultation and help in regards to repairing your credit and getting it back where it needs to be in order to get you to the point where you can make those purchases and own a home and the things that you want to do, or even if you just want to clean up your credit and get yourself in a better situation. Right, so we appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Inspire Talk Radio. Inspire Talk Radio from 7 to 8 p.m. tonight, right here. D-Man hosting it up, and executive producer Shy, all the way in Chattanooga. Reminder, we're going to be in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Chattanooga, Tennessee, for the Acoustic Cafe Experience Day Party that's taking place. I'm excited about it. If you haven't bought your tickets, make sure you do. We also have a pay-per-view link, so you don't have to be physically there. Come on, technology. All you got to do is buy the link, and you'll be able to see everything that's going on there in Chattanooga. So I hope you guys hang on for the ride. Appreciate your support. If you haven't done it already, make sure you like us on Facebook by going to TheBeatDropsRadio.com. Click on the F. That'll take you directly to our Facebook page. Click like, and then you can share that with other people. Uh-oh. Somebody said something. Okay. All right. Well, hey. McCloud. I'm sorry, somebody put a message up on the board. I appreciate you. All right. Well, I'm glad that you at least, you must have translated what I'm saying in English, because that's perfectly being written right there. He's saying that, unfortunately, still poorly understand you in English, but I appreciate you so much for tuning in. Thanks so much. And also the other gentleman, I cannot pronounce your name, but thanks so much. Monday through Friday, right here on the Beat Drops Radio. We'll see you then. Have a great and safe weekend.
With the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
WBBE, the Beat Drops Radio.